Go.
This is a special education program evaluation for the year 2012-2013. And I wanted to start with a few program highlights. We have some of the things that we're very proud of are our growth in MAP and EOC data. And this is the percent of students with IEP scoring proficient or advanced in grades 3 through 12. And you can see in 2009 in CombsJune we went from 27.4 up to 2011-2012 of 35%. And in math from 22% up to 38%. Another program highlight is for our MSIP 5 results, which was for the, what year was that, April? 2011-12 data. Our district received 14 out of 14 points in our subgroup achievement, of which students with IEPs were part of, and we received the designation of an exemplar program due to that status. Another highlight, when we look at very specific data for Study Island CombsArts, we had an increase in the percent of students who scored proficient or advanced from the beginning of the year to the end, and I compared the years from 11-12 to 12-13, and those went up significantly in grades 4, 5, 6, and 7. Another set of highlights is our percent of students who showed growth on the Study Island benchmarks in CombsArts and Study Island Math. We had in each grade level a range of 55% scoring proficient or advanced to 92 in CombsArts, and in Math 47 to 100%. And the last one, we had compliance monitoring where we sent files off in 2010. No, we sent files off in 2011-2012. We received our findings in the fall of this year. We had one small correction, and that's been fixed, so we were in 100% compliance. We did have some growth areas. Two of our biggies from DESE were our performance data as well as our graduation rate, and our assessment data based on the MAP was more than 25% from the state target, and our graduation rate was within 25% of the state target. The piece of information that I have down there talks about in 2011-2012, the number of students with IEPs who actually graduated that year was at 88.9%. However, when the state figured that number, they use a 4-year cohort, so our number dropped to 61.5. So we were graduating students with IEPs, just not within 4 years. They were taking longer than that. Another growth area on our special education profile from 2011-2012, we had 9 areas that were considered not met. Those areas continue to be focused around placement, our state MAP performance targets, which we've already talked about, early childhood outcome data, graduation rate, which we've already talked about, and parent involvement. Some very specific data to look at for our students with IEPs. For kindergarten DIBELS, which is reading data, the percent of students with IEPs who met their end-of-year benchmark was 55%, and the percent of students who showed growth at any time throughout the year on that assessment was 100%. Our STAR reading data by grade level, the percent of students who were reading at grade level at the end of the year in first grade was 22%, second grade 33%, third grade 33%, fourth 27%, fifth 11%, sixth grade 33%, seventh grade 18%, and eighth grade 33%. The percent of students who showed growth on that assessment is significantly higher. And obviously we would think that our students with IEPs, many of them might not be reading at grade level. So the growth area is very exciting and interesting to us. For Study Island Communication Arts, I did a little chart for us to look at. This is the difference in the percent of students who at the beginning of the year scored proficient or advanced in CombsArts, and then again at the end of the year, the change in that percentage. And I have a year-to-year comparison, so I have 11-12 data, 12-13 data, and then the change, and this is where one of our highlights came from. Those numbers were significant. in that we moved more children in 12-13 to scoring proficient or advanced than we did in 11-12. This is Study Island Communication Arts Continued, and these are the percent of students who showed growth from the beginning of the year to the end. And again, our growth data is excellent. Lots of times students with IEPs have difficulty being at grade level, so we're very interested in our growth data. For Study Island Math, I have the same chart of 11, 12, 12, 13 and the change. You can see that this one, not as significant as we'd like to see. And I know as a district, math is still one of our needier areas. We're much stronger in comm arts than we are in math, and special ed isn't any different than that. So, however, our growth data for Study Island Math again is very impressive, with the range between 47 and 100%. This is some specific goal data. This is from each case manager is required to take a tally of every student that they case manage that has an IEP and take a look at the goals that they've mastered at the end of that school year or the end of that IEP cycle. And across the top there you can see it's 4 years worth of data. So in academic areas for mastered, in 9-10 we mastered 29% of our goals, and up to this year in 12-13, 30%. You can see there's not a large difference, but we're at least holding our own steady, and we'd like to see those numbers increase. We have specific goal data for behavior. Specific goal data for speech language. So large growth between 17 and 34% of those goals mastered. OT went from 9 to 20% mastered, and PT dropped a little bit from 11 to 5. That's all there is. Thanks for listening.